I am on my bicycle workstation, so we're going to try something new here. I'm Yvette Dubell, and I am joined by Monica Sommer of Liberty Print Company. Hi, Monica. Can
Hi,
you hear
how are
me?
you?
I'm
Yes, ma'am, I sure
great.
can.
Okay. So Monica really impressed me with her knowledge of her industry and her commitment to sustainable business, and not just in a sort of marketing branding way, but she has a really interesting branding story and just amazing insight into her industry. So Monica, where did this
Yes.
begin? Okay, tell me how this began. So let's start with the beginning of your company, and then let's talk about why you decide what in your background made you decide to start the kind of company that you have started with Liberty.
Well, I had been screen printing for a very long time, since I was a kid, and I wasn't very pleased kind of with the work environment that I grew up in. And I didn't really, I enjoyed my work, but I didn't enjoy the place that I worked at. And it
Okay.
occurred to myself and my partner that we should probably go out on our own and kind of try to do this in a way that we felt was better. And,
Mhm.
sorry about that.
Oh,
And
you're fine.
so we basically just started, Liberty, and went out on our own. And we've been having a pretty good time ever since. And it's been really successful. We've been very fortunate. So we've just tried to kind of create a company culture that was 180 degrees different than what we grew up in.
Ah, okay. So you were being the change you wanted to see in the world. Um, one of the
Pretty
things,
much,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
the
We
things.
wanted
Well,
to
we'll
create a.
two. I'm sorry. Continue
No, go
with
for it.
that.
Well, I was just gonna say we wanted to have a different company culture, and one that was a little bit more inclusive and supportive, and one that you felt like you had a stake in the company, that it wasn't just some place where you punched a clock every day and then punched out and couldn't wait to get out of there. We've been fortunate enough to create an environment that people stay. They hang out. They come in early. They stay late. They just hang out here when they're done, which is something that we're incredibly proud of. And they get us and they get amazing work done in a day, amount of it, in terms of volume, but also in terms of quality. And to be happy while they're doing it is just something that we're just so fortunate to be part of it.
Well, can you tell me a little bit
Hopefully
about
someone
how?
else answers that.
I hope so. I'm sorry to the person that's calling and wants Monica's attention while we have it. Okay. Somebody else will get it. They'll get it. Um, but
Or we'll pick it
how
up.
did you how did you go about doing that? Like, what's your wife's background? Is she's also from the industry?
Yeah,
What
she
is,
actually started off screen printing up in Massachusetts. I don't know if you
mhm.
remember that old TV show Cheers. Well,
Yes.
she worked for the company that did all the promotional merchandising for that. So she grew up printing the Cheers logo every single day,
Wow.
Boston Ballet, things like that. And she just, it's almost like God touched her on the shoulder and was like, hey, you're going to be like the best screen printer ever. And she really is. She's probably one of the best on the East Coast. She's kind of a
Wow.
little living legend in our industry. And she taught me. So I learned from the best. And we've just sort of, you know, been kind of
Wow.
partners in life and in business ever since. So
So, what was the secret to creating this culture that you've created? I mean, I'm sure it probably wasn't exactly formulaic, but what were some of the guideposts that you had along the way? Like, what did you know that guided you besides, like, wanting to do something different? But in terms of a lot of people want things to be different. Not everybody knows how to lead a team, how to inspire people, and then how to execute the business plan, the day-to-day business operation. What was your secret? What's your secret?
I think it's just more of a philosophy. There's no real plan. So it's kind of it's a little bit fly by the seat of your pants, but it's really more along the lines of, if you treat everyone and you don't go around like bossing people around, like screaming out orders or anything like that. You just ask people to do things. They're generally going to just do what you want them to do, and if you're polite and you're respectful and you show that, you're concerned about them, they're going to be concerned about you back. It's the sort of law of reciprocity, and so we definitely believe in that, and that's sort of our culture together, Holly and I. So we just sort of spread that around, but it's also a little bit of kind of bucking the system a little bit, because like I said, we kind of grew up in a place that, was kind of barking orders, and, they did have a formula to try to motivate people and often backfired on them. It was like a revolving door. So
Right.
one of the things that we did was we took a real long view approach, and we call it hiring for attitude and training for aptitude. I can teach anyone how to screen print, but I cannot teach anybody how to care. If I know that from the get-go they care, they're conscientious, they're respectful people,
Mhm.
then I can build on that. But I can't teach you basic human values and core beliefs. That's something that's innate. So if I see those traits in you, then of course I can teach you how to screen print. It's a little bit of an art. It's an art form, but it's an industrial art form. But it's something that can be learned. But without those sort of core principles and beliefs,
Right.
I really can't do much with you. So, like I said, we hire for attitude and train for aptitude, and it's a long view approach, but it does work. So we have a very tight crew. They're like family to us, and we're stoked to spend every day with them, and we love that. Like I said, like they come in early, they stay late just to hang out sometimes, and that means a lot to us.
Um, in terms of your brand, it seems like the Liberty brand is very much about you, and not knowing Holly, just building on the conversations that we've had. It seems that your brand is very much a part of your life philosophies, and your approach towards just how you're living. In terms of what you're saying about respecting people, treat people the way you'd want to be treated, sort of thing. Was that in terms of like in your marketing and who your customers are, do you find that you attract customers who mirror that back to you, that come to you because they appreciate that part of what your brand is about, as well as your technical expertise?
I think so. I think people see that it's simple, it's a little distressed. There's these two clasped hands that represent Holly and I, just sort of holding this thing together, as a team. And I
Right.
think people see that and it resonates. I think there's an authenticity to it that, is a lot different than the typical screen printing and embroidery shops where, there's like maybe a little registration mark, or there's a little swoosh, or things are really super bright colors and very, we really took it down, and we just bare bones, the logo, the branding, everything is really stripped down, because we're really
Hmm.
interested in having tight partnerships with our clients and trying to get them the best, and being the best doesn't mean you have to be the flashiest. Sometimes being
Right.
the best, you're plain and simple. And that's kind of what we wanted to convey, that we do take our clients' relationships as it's like a partnership. We try to do the best that we can for them so their businesses grow, and everybody kind of comes up and rises up together. And in order to do that, you kind of need to hang on to people, and you need to form those really tight bonds. And so that's where like that clasped hands kind of, look kind of comes from. And that distressed look is just like, hey, you know what? We've been through a lot of stuff, but we're still here. We're still really strong, and we're still really bold. And so that's that's our branding, kind of, is just that people are looking for something that's authentic, and people that are
Right.
real. They're kind of tired of the dazzle and the BS.
The lack of substance.
Yeah, definitely. And the lack of skill, I mean, there's a lot of it's amazing the stuff that we see come through the door that people say, "Can you fix this?" And we look at it, we're just like, "Dear God, who did this to you?" It's like getting a bad haircut. Bad t-shirts are like a bad haircut.
Right.
You want that mofo to grow out really quick. So.
Well, it's especially bad with t-shirts because you have a whole box of them. Now, one of the things that really got my attention when we spoke the first time, talking in my preparations for Women Crossings, because I was starting out without any sort of design concept for the T-shirt, but I knew that I wanted somebody who understood social responsibility, eco-friendly ways of producing the shirts on their end, because I'm not an expert. And I know that most people have heard of soy-based inks used for silk screening and printing and so on. But in our conversation, you brought up something that I had not heard anybody else talk about, which was consideration for water usage. As well as the material that the ink itself is made out of. Can you talk a little bit more about how you bring your technical expertise to help your customers get a better product when they're looking for something eco-friendly and socially responsible? Because I think we talked about, we're looking at a blended shirt. I think it was a recycled plastic cotton blend, and I thought, like, okay, like that was a big deal that you had that. But then what you knew about the printing process and about the eco-friendly alternatives there.
Okay, you cut out for a second there. Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I think what your question was how do you go about making a more sustainable t-shirt?
Yeah, when you're looking for a more sustainable t-shirt, you really depend on you, the expert, to guide us, the customer, in making the right decisions. Because I didn't have a design in mind. I only knew that I wanted a recycled t-shirt, so, post-consumer recycled t-shirt blend, and some sort of eco-friendly silk screening processes. And you just knew so much about that. Can you talk a little bit about that beyond soy inks?
Well, we actually, screen printers don't use soy inks. That would be more of an offset, like a paper printing kind of a thing.
Okay.
But what screen printers generally do is two types of inks. One would be water-based, one would be plastisol. Okay. They both have their ups and downs. They both have their, their good points or bad points. But there was a movement in the industry to go completely water-based and it was sold as an eco-friendly product. It is the ink itself, because it's made out of water, is very eco-friendly. The process of it, though, in my opinion, at least, is not really where it should be. There are lots of great things about it, but plastisol has about the same environmental footprint, to be honest with you, mostly because of waste products and because of what products that you took that were eco-friendly and then rendered them hazardous through the water-based process. So, like I said, I kind of see them as being kind of equal. A lot of people think, oh, plastisol, because it's oil-based, it's a petroleum-based product, it must be, not very good. But the fact is, there's no waste product whatsoever, and there are more water-based products that go along with plastic. It's not all just about the ink. A 360 view of this from start to finish. What it takes to produce print on that, and where the environment, where you're saving money, where you're saving energy is huge. So if, for instance, when that imprint is going through a conveyor belt dryer, plastisol ink, oil-based ink, will cure much faster than water-based, because you have to evaporate the water in order to make the ink stick to the shirt. Takes about twice as long, so therefore twice as much energy. So like I said, water-based ink itself is great, but that 360 view around it, there's a lot of waste product that makes me personally really uncomfortable in a way that plastisol, solves a lot of that. So yeah, you have an oil-based product that, we may think is not so green, but that 360 view, around that press, there's a lot more products involved that, are eco-friendly. So we tend to kind of try to educate people when they come in. They're like, I have to have water-based printing because it's eco-friendly. And I kind of go, really? Is it now? So like I said, once you kind of get educated about it, you understand all the different, components that go into it. It kind of
Right.
comes out as a draw. So I never really push anybody into one type of ink or another. I'm more like, what's your aesthetic? Because like I said, it's a draw. So then just let's go for what you like, what you want, what the design dictates. How about that? And then people tend to calm down and go, okay, I got you. But a lot of times it becomes more of a someone can something. And I don't want to be that person that just says, oh, I'm eco-friendly or I care about the environment. I actually want to do something to care about the
Right.
environment.
Right.
So sorry, I'm just going to touch the screen here so I can go back. I don't know what just happened, but yeah, it's just like I said, it's that 360 approach, and it's really looking at the process from start to finish. But when it comes in terms of a t-shirt itself, some brands, they have, a better footprint than others. You and I talked about one particular brand called Anvil, and I was telling you that when they decided they were going to make a new t-shirt plant, one of the things that is really dangerous about cotton is how much water it uses.
Right.
And they basically purposely built a plant on the dirtiest river they could find, and they suck in just tens of thousands of gallons of water, and it goes through their process, what normally would be really, really difficult on the environment, especially on the water table. By the time that this water that gets pumped in from this dirty river gets put back into the river, it's cleaner than the water that you and I drink from our tap.
Right.
Which is pretty darn cool. So
Right.
you're taking something that's really gross and making something really great at the end of it and making an awesome t-shirt. So I suggested that brand because let's celebrate the fact that they're doing that.
Exactly. Now this, I think the reason I wanted to actually record our conversation was that I think that this is a very important part of education marketing. And I felt that that was something that you really offered that made you stand out from everybody else that I talked to about, looking, in the search for t-shirts. And I was very surprised at people who couldn't even talk about the t-shirt, though. I wanted to know, because some of the t-shirts feel very stiff. Sometimes they're very heavy and thick, not what we were looking for. You were able to talk about not only the touch of the fabric. I think in fashion, there's a name for that, but I can't think of what it is.
The shingles. The shingles. How many shingles are in a shirt? Yeah. The lower your shingles, the softer that shirt is.
Right. See, this is what I mean, people. Education marketing, this is it. But I think that that's such an important part of, well, at least for me and my decision making. And I think that more business owners need to understand that there are a growing number of customers that want information when they're making their purchasing decisions. It's not all about pricing. And I think that you're just such a fabulous example of that. I wanted to have some small part in telling the world about what you do.
Well, you're very kind. I appreciate that, and definitely appreciate the feedback that I've been able to have from you about talking about things that because some people do really focus on price, and we try to be as competitive as possible, but once again, going into that 360 view again, you start looking at a business from start to finish, what it is, and your decision making. It's nice to actually be able to have that dialogue with someone and really get to know a client and let them get to know us, and that's a really beautiful thing. So thank you, appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you for making the time to do this, because I'm not going to edit this, but I will do a couple of blog posts about different parts of this conversation and just kind of link people back to like a timestamp portion of it, so that people can hear the whole thing. And then there'll be a podcast audio only download. So I'll send you links to those. And I'll include a link to Liberty's website with the description for this. And also I'll include your link when I do the blog post also. But this is it's got me re-energized about my small business interview chat. Well, I call it conversations in context. But it's gotten me
That's awesome.
re-energized about that series. So I'm starting it again with this interview. So thank you so much. Really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
my dear.
And
Anytime.
anytime you have something you want to share or get out, let me know. We can do this again.
Okay.
Um, this is so fabulous. So thank you. I'm so glad we finally did it.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much. And you know, it's finally nice to be able to see each other face to face. So
I
nice to
know,
meet you.
right? Okay, well, we'll talk again. We'll talk again because I'm not done with Women Crossings and we
Okay.
still need to finalize the t-shirt
Oh,
plans.
we're cutting
So,
out again.
oops, okay, I should stop moving. I'm moving too much. Oh, that's what it is. It's when I start pedaling. Okay, I'll stop moving. But I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day because I know you're busy running your business like so many other like wonderful small business owners. And it's hard to take time to like tell everybody how great you are. So I'm here to help you do
Oh,
that.
that I can always take time for. Come on.
Yay. Okay, well, have a great day. And please
My
give my
darling.
best.
Thank
You
you
give
so
my
much.
best to your team, please. Give everybody a hug for me.
I will be happy to give everyone a hug from Yvette. No worries. You got
Wonderful. Thank you. Have a great day, Monica. And bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.